With RezShield software, we have two options to retrieve an audit from a door. You can either use the handheld programming device we call the M unit, along with the programming cable, or you can actually set up a fob to retrieve an audit from a door. If you're going to use a fob, you just have to have a 4K memory fob, which may not be the standard fob you're using for regular users. So from the home screen of the software, to get that fob prepared to retrieve an audit, you'll simply place that 4K fob on the encoder. And from the home screen of the software, you want to select Lock Action. And the key we're selecting is the Lock Audit credential. You do have to assign it to a particular user. This fob is not going to open the door, it's simply going to retrieve the audit, but we still associate it with the user. And then with the fob on the encoder, you're simply going to select Encode. It will encode the fob, and when it's done, it'll tell you to remove the fob. Now, when we actually go to the door, the process for using the fob is very simple. All you need to do is simply present that credential to the door. The green light will come on and stay on while transferring the audit. When it comes off, you're basically done. Now, since we're already at the door, I'm going to show you how to do it with the M unit as well. So we have our handheld programmer and cable. I actually have our programming fob taped to the back of the M unit just for ease of use. So from the home screen, you're going to select Doors. We want to go down and select Audit Any. And then you want to put the lock in programming mode. Again, I have my fob taped on there. Attach your programming cable. And select Infrared. You'll see the audit trail will be transferring over to the M unit. And when the audit is done, it'll let you know. Now you can actually view some basic information of the audit trail if you wanted to. However, it's not going to give you usernames and things of that nature, so it's not as useful as having it back with the software. But once you're ready to go back to the software, the one step you have to remember is from that reports menu, select Export. And it's simply converting the file into a usable format for the software to retrieve it. And basically we would then carry this device back to the software. Move the camera here. And we'll do this two different ways. So from the home screen, again, if we're going to get the audit off of the fob, you're going to take that same audit fob, put it on the encoder. We're going to select key Read Back. You're going to read that fob. It's going to retrieve the information from the fob. And once it's done, it'll tell you to remove the credential, which I just did. And you can actually see the audit trail information right on this screen if you scroll down. And you'll see transactions of, the door being locked or unlocked from the inside or outside. Obviously, if it's a credential holder, it'll give you the user's name. So there is some basic audit trail information here, and you can see you can scroll, go down here, you can scroll on additional pages. However, we're also going to be able to generate a true PDF platform audit trail based on this data. So that's how you retrieve it off the fob. If you're only using the M unit, when you're back at the software, you're going to plug the M unit back into the computer with the USB cable. You're going to select Lock Admin. And what we're doing is we're transferring files from the M unit to the computer. You want to select your file location. Again, the M unit, when it's plugged in, basically looks like a flash drive connected to the computer. We will transfer the file. And actually, I already did this once, so it's just indicating that file's already been transferred. And now from the home screen, to actually look at the audit in a report format, we want to select Reports. You're going to go to Lock Audits, and you can select a date range of what snapshot you're looking to see history from. So I'm just going to select January 1st through well, 25th, today's date, as the date range. You don't really need to select anything here in terms of what administrator was there. I do recommend selecting the door for the audit trail you're trying to retrieve. Otherwise, it's going to query the entire database, which just takes a little longer. So I did an audit of 18201. And again, we're not looking for a particular user necessarily. We want to see the entire audit trail for the door. So we'll be able to simply preview the report. And it generates a report on the screen here. I typically prefer to export the file. And this will allow you to save it wherever you want on the designated computer or a specific drive. It just typically looks a little bit cleaner in a PDF format. And at this point, we have our audit trail. So you have your usage history. This is 16 pages, so you can print it, file it, email it as needed.